take it slow. I know that I will find the words to show the world. 'Cause words go on inside my mind. Never know what I might find. Searching for that sweet sublime. Glad I still got time to find that perfect rhyme.
My father left in the middle of the night with him behind the wheel, after a long discussion with my mother on the subject of commitment. The house felt strange, and as if something was left behind. I went into my father's bedroom, and on the dresser was a wallet and a wristwatch. I'd like you to take note of the wallet. It was old and battered and faded. It smelled of long days and warm beer. I opened up the wallet, and inside were 2 George Washingtons creased together, and a Polaroid of a naked woman that was not my mother. The watch was old and rusty and busted. The hands didn't move. I put the wristwatch into the garbage pail, and I kept the wallet until it fell apart of old age. And now, it's only me who feels strange and left behind. My feelings for my father are like a bowl of fish hooks. I pick one up, and they all come. Hi, I'm Tim Tipton, your host for Rhyme Without Reason. Welcome, and thank you for finding your way to my show. Maybe it's something in the ocean air, something about this community being wedged between Los Angeles and Santa Barbara. But art thrives here. We want to entertain and share stories of the medium that is art. Stay a while.
There once was a whale in the sea, as big as all whales can be. He swam from the top to the bottom and back, in love with being so free. He always stopped in for a tail slap or two, because that's what male whales just love to do. But he never stayed long, never heard that sweet song, never changed from the line he had drawn. He swam with the joy of being alive, and ate all the food he needed to survive. He swam to the deepest parts of the sea and struggled through nets to keep himself free. He swam to new places he thought he'd never see, and once he got stuck by a thing called a tree. He followed the lines his mom and dad took and always avoided the fisherman's hook. He sang with his friends when they felt them close by, and he danced with them all deep into the night. He watched over the babies and shielded their fright, and protected the ladies with a show of his might. He was happy to float from pole to pole, with never a question of where to go. Then one night while floating close to the shore, he heard a strange song that cut to his core. Like nothing this world had shown him before, and all he could think of was he wanted more. So he followed the song to a great sea wall. He thought he might die from the sweet silence call. It scrambled his senses and broke down his defenses and rattled his bones like the waves in a tempest. The song was in the air and under the sea, and he wondered for hours just what it could be. Just what kind of creature could make such a sound? It turned him to butter and made him melt down. It made him feel like he was stuck on the ground. He wanted to turn and swim for the sun, to forget all he'd heard and what it had done, to get back to his way of living and fun, back to tail slapping, kelp napping, shark smacking fun. But try as he might, he just couldn't move from that song that was making his soul want to groove in a way that he knew with his mom and dad, in a way that he knew that he never had. So now more than ever, he just had to see who was singing that song so exceptionally. He would wait for the morning if they sang all night long. He would wait for the sunrise, for the breaking of dawn. So he fell fast asleep to that glorious tune, and he dreamed of a she-whale who danced round the moon. She danced round the stars, he danced with her too. They danced round the planets, they danced round the sun, they danced with the comets. They were having so much fun. When he finally woke, it was late in the day, and the beautiful song had gone on its way. And that big old blue whale, with the best slapping tail, he didn't know what to do. His compass was thrown all askew. He was lost to the lines he once drew. So he dove for the deep and he stayed there for days, letting the pressure work its strange ways, while dreaming of a she-whale whose sweet song he craved. When he finally surfaced for a breath of fresh air, he knew that he needed to be swimming somewhere, but the song had begun, and so he didn't care about anything more than floating right there, drawing a new line with the breath of a prayer, straight from the source that he wanted to share. And he swam to the source of that glorious voice. He swam with a purpose that he had no choice. He swam through the day and through the dark night. He swam without eating, for he was filled with fright. But the song might end before he got there, and he would be lost in the middle of nowhere, cold and alone, and filled with despair. But the song didn't end, and so neither did he. He was living on stardust and love energy, calling on every last bit of his chi. He floated right into a beautiful bay, surrounded by cliffs as big as the day, away from the mighty crash of the waves, away from the sound the wind would have made, away from the screeching gulls' parade, till there was nothing left but the sound that she made, right there in the middle of that magical bay. Right there was the singer of the song that he craved. Without hesitation, before he could think, he swam up beside her and started to sing. He sang the way he knew to be good, matching her frequency in the way that he should. He sang the low to her beautiful high, in tune with the tempo he looked into her eyes. Full in the moment, he had no disguise. He had no defense for that golden surprise. And right here on earth, under the sun, under the heavens that house everyone, and the blood in his veins, and the air in his lungs, he found a new song of life had begun.
This poem is called It's a Wonderful Life, and it's the story of my entire life. 1968, I come out of my mother's several weeks early, As with all things, she assumes it's a conspiracy. 1970, I try to turn on the house by inserting the car keys into an electrical outlet. I have no further memory of this. 1973, I instruct all my colleagues at the Sun Country Safari preschool to gather at the other end of the playground so we could start a club. When I see them all there from the other side of the yard, I realize I have nothing to tell them, and I play on the swing by myself. 1976, a vague memory of Fort Lauderdale fireworks. Our nation is 200 years old. I won't discover disco until 1989. 1977, we moved to Syracuse, New York, the home of my ancestors, where once the snow was taller than me, which has been universally assessed as nothing remarkable. 1981, the Scoutmaster asked me to lead the pack in a song as we hike through the Adirondack Mountains. In hindsight, the song about the bear chasing a man through the woods was not my best choice. 1982, a girl at the junior high school 50s dance asks me to dance. It won't be the first time I miss a potentially formative experience due to acute shyness. We ride a Greyhound bus to Pasadena, California. I don't change out of these golf pants for 3 days. When we arrive, I ask the driver where the ocean is. He says, "Do you see where the mountains aren't? That's where the ocean is." 1983, I learned people my age can hug each other. It changes everything. 1986, I win a trophy almost as tall as the 1977 snow, which is no big accomplishment. 1989, I discover disco. 1990, Santa Cruz, California. I do everything I've ever wanted to do on a cliff overlooking the Pacific Ocean, butterflies hovering above. I embarrass myself at the Saturn Cafe when I order chai, but order it in the original Hebrew. 1992, I work at a radio station where my job is to point at people until they say things. The space between my pointing and them speaking is meant to be nil. 1994, I host a poetry reading every week for 21 years. Obviously, much of this occurred outside of 1994. 1999, I let Al Gore take credit for inventing the internet. 2000, the world ends in an explosion of ones and zeros. I act as if nothing has happened. 2002, I meet my beloved in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, where the mosquitoes are as large as poodles. 2003, I propose to my beloved in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, in a room filled with sunflowers and strawberries. Spoiler alert, she says yes. 2004, I eat fondue with my beloved in Paris. Paris becomes a third party in our love. 2008, we release a blonde-haired, blue-eyed child into the world. A woman in Northridge tells us he is TV cute. 2009, our child utters his first words, uh-oh. 2012, we eat fondue in Paris again. Our child back in Van Nuys, where we hope to God someone is feeding him. 2014, my mother leaves the earth. Ashes mailed to Syracuse, New York. I'm starting to think it is a conspiracy. 2015, I'm holding on to disco like it's 1989.
old me. How do those old hooks slide into old wounds so smooth? Just when you thought the moon phased and the tides changed, it all comes crashing back in tidal waves. I can't be this new me with this old you, remembering back when I knew that me too. I think that's the trouble with trying to change. No matter the movements made and the efforts waged, there'll always be a little left lingering of my old ways. But I haven't committed to cutting ties, so I've got these ropes tied onto these old lives, friends and foes of memories told. I still hear echoes on the winds of whispers I spoke so long ago. I shudder at the stakes that I struck into softened souls that once crossed my path, and I passed them with no presence. I can't help but apologize for the steps I took with lack of sight. I'm sorry for the things I didn't know in time. Excuse my old me, please. I know she got me here at least, but she's gone. Just as soon as you can forget her too, we can set her free.
Are you interested in history, art, or culture? Do you want to give back to your community? The Museum of Ventura County is currently seeking new volunteers. Volunteers support every department at the museum, from greeting visitors and hanging exhibitions to helping with educational tours and doing research in the library. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer at the museum in Ventura or the Agricultural Museum in Santa Paula, fill out our volunteer application form on our website, venturamuseum.org.
Agua, aqua, ama, apa, agua, vada, Wasser, wasser, water, Bachelorette says, language is filled with water. Listen as the liquid syllables of flowing language carry off lingering moments of memory. Listen to the stirrings of the stream. Listen to the stream laugh and the laughter stream. Listen to the round words roll over stones. Speak to the river and it will teach you to speak. Water dissolves all barriers. Water weeps with everyone. Without water, we cannot see. Without water, we cannot hear. Without water, we cannot smell. Without water, we cannot speak. Without water, we cannot think. We're all made of recycled water, water recycled since the beginning of time. So embedded are we in water, we must look for it to see it. Water is both mirror and window.
Extra, extra, read all about it! Edison starts fire near Thomas Aquinas College in drought-stricken hillsides of Ventura County. Thomas Fire races ridgetops in circles Ojai Valley. Thomas Fire attacks Santa Barbara County.
Will Thomas Fire convince doubting Thomas of climate change?
Before the Thomas Fire, I had achieved my dream of living in Ojai at a house called Elevate. With a waiting list of 60, they chose me, the 7th roommate. It felt carved out for me. The dog, the balcony, the moon, getting to sleep with the dog on the balcony under the moon. I had never before lived in such harmony with nature. And then it all burnt to the ground. Aside from what we all grabbed not 10 hours before, we had all lost everything.
Wikipedia says St. Thomas Aquinas lived from 1225 to 1274. Because he could levitate, he achieved sainthood. Today, St. Thomas is considered one of the Catholic Church's greatest theologians, philosophers, and teachers. In seminary school, Thomas was so quiet, some of the fellow students thought he was slow. In his defense, Thomas's teacher said, "You call him the dumb ox, but in his teachings, he will one day produce such a bellowing he will be heard throughout the world." And what's one of St. Thomas's most important teachings? Thomas Aquinas says, we are social beings meant to live in community and interact with each other. Thomas Edison says, The most necessary task of civilization is to teach people how to think.
I've always had trouble asking for help. It was something that just was discouraged or not really taught in our home. Nervous, shaking, and small, that night I found myself on Facebook asking. The next morning, I found my inbox flooded with messages of support, financial, emotional, anything you need, come stay with us. And of course, my dad is texting, "You're humiliating us!" But I knew it wasn't humiliating. It was humbling. Let me lean on community, Pops. They've got me.
Carl Jung says, synchronicity is a meaningful coincidence. As meaningful coincidences multiply, the more their probability sinks, until they can no longer be regarded as pure chance, but for lack of a causal explanation, must be meaningful arrangements.
Well, 1 month after Thomas took down my home, I met a guy who I thought could be my twin flame. His name was Thomas. Oh, God, were there sparks. Boy, was he hot. And man, was it explosive. But damn it, he also ended up burning me. But that's a different story for a different time.
Galway Canal wants to know, how many nights must it take one such as me to learn that we aren't, after all, made from that bird that flies out of its ashes? That for us, as we go up in flames, our one work is to open ourselves to be the flames.
Well, I have since found home in community, girlfriends and dogs. Friends in Fillmore whose avocado grove trees I've climbed for solace. Friends in Ojai who went off on summer vacations while their towering oaks became my respite, and their animals, my friends. I've cleared debris, weeded, and rebuilt walls of rock at Ventura Botanical Gardens. I have begun to pay more homage to nature in the aftermath of fire because nature has humbled me. I long to be in its arms 24/7, out of respect for its magical healing powers. I should be angry at fire. I should be angry at nature. But how can I be? It's bigger than me.
According to myth, Prometheus, Sky Snake, Grandmother Spider, Nanabush, Coyote, Maui, they stole fire from the gods to give to us. With their gift of fire, we make civilization. Fire invites us to reverie. Fire powers heart and sky. Fire shines in paradise and burns in hell. Fire creates light and darkness. Fire links hearth and volcano. Fire is the voice of solitude and grief. Fire is intimate and universal. Fire is death and renewal.
Maybe we have to lose everything to learn that everything we need is right here, in this home, where the heart is. And when you rearrange the letters in heart, you get earth, our true home.
Doubting Thomas says, unless I see the mark of the nails in his hands and put my hand in his side, I will not believe. Jesus says, blessed are those who have not seen and have believed. Thomas Edison says, nature is what we know. Thomas Aquinas says, we need to know three things: what we believe, what we desire, and what to do. Our planetary climate crisis contradicts core beliefs of our Western worldview. 1, our Earth is stable and durable, and 2, humans are separate from nature. As we address the environmental catastrophe of climate change, we must be compassionate with those unable to believe. Agua, aqua, ama, apa, awa, vada, Wasser, Wasser, water.
Welcome to Time Traveler Safari. Today we're sending Lance and Terrence Picklebottom back 70 million years, a time when dinosaurs roamed the Earth. Their assignment is to observe the communication mechanisms of the deadly Velociraptor. These voracious lizards hunted in packs. I believe the brothers have made their first sighting. We join them now on this week's Time Traveler Safari.
Oh, look at you. What a cute little morsel you are. Let's get a closer look at you.
You can talk? We were advised that your species communicated, but no one told us you could talk.
Well, now you know. Call me Val.
Terrence, we were briefed specifically in the introductory meeting not to interact with our subjects.
Lance, you bumblehead, I'm not interacting. I'm about to be eaten.
You're so cute. I could just take a bite out of you.
And who would clean up the mess? I'm certainly not.
Lance! Lance!
Ooh, those are some sharp teeth. Get over here, let me have a bite.
Now put me down!
I won't spill a drop of this tender, juicy morsel. And there'll be no crumbs.
Nice to know you think I'm not crummy, but wait! I thought you were vegetarian.
I don't feel vegetarian. Do I look vegetarian?
I'm very sure you're vegetarian. A fresh flesh eater always gets heartburn. Now put me down!
What was that?
Lance, I thought you said these beasts were extinct.
They are, but they're not dead.